ladies and gentlemen. I want to share with you a story. But before I do, I need your permission. So, when I say il, you say ow. Then I know you want the story. Il. Ow. The way you say ow tells me how much you want to hear this story. I'm assuming you've bought tickets, so I think you want the story. Il. Ow. Il. Ow. Il. Ow. Il. Ow. Once upon a time, bring it down. Before the slave ships crossed the Atlantic and plundered that great continent we call Africa, when the great kingdoms of Africa were known and had not been forgotten, when the names of the great kings could be recited by the great griots, there was a king. His name was Magan Konfata. Magan Konfata, king of Mali, king of the bright people. He was wise, he was beautiful. He was married to Sassama Berete, known for her extreme beauty. If there can be such a thing as extreme beauty, she was it. They were a fine pair, and whilst they were lesser wives, everybody knew that Sassama Berete was the queen. And her son would become one day the king. Magan Konfata sat under the spreading arms of a broadleaf tree. His griot played music to soothe his troubled mind. And as Magan Konfata sat there deep in contemplation, he noticed a figure coming towards him, a man. He wore a smock shirt covered in cowrie shells and small pockets filled with words, protective words, talisman. Over his shoulders he carried the hindquarters of an antelope. Slung behind his back, his bow and his arrow. It was clear that this man was a hunter. The hunter approached the king and his griot, and he bowed low before them. And he said, "Majesty, I have been hunting in your region, and now I bring you your portion." Can we turn this down a little bit, please? Thank you. Thank you. Il. 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 The hunter took the hindquarters of the antelope from off his shoulders and threw it down before the king. The king and his griot exchanged glances. This man understood tradition, and the griot invited the hunter to sit. The hunter sat. And the king, the griot, and the hunter sat for a while in silent contemplation. They weren't afraid of the silence. And after a while, the griot, the king's praise singer, turned to the hunter and he said, "Hunter, you must have been to many regions. You must have seen many things. Tell us one of your stories." And the hunter said, "Majesty, I'm sorry. I'm not one of these storytellers who likes to prattle on and doesn't know when to stop talking. I have no stories to share." And then the griot said, "But I see you have your bag of cowrie shells. That means you can divine for us. Cast your shells, divine something." And the hunter said, "I don't think the king would like to know what I have to say." "Oh, divine something," said the griot. And so the hunter plunged his hands into his bag of cowrie shells and he cast them on the ground before the king. He cast them once. He cast them twice. He cast them 3 times. 16 times the hunter cast the cowrie shells. 16 times he added meaning to meaning. And then he said, "Majesty, if you wish Mali to be known far and further than far into the future, if you wish your country to be like a shining star in the heavens, you must take to your bed a virgin from the region of Segu. This woman you must impregnate. This woman you must marry, of course. Then you must impregnate. And the child that you place in her womb will become the greatest king that Mali has ever known. However, Majesty, do not believe that you must marry a handsome woman. a beautiful woman, a comely and shapely woman, because the prediction will not come true. You must marry the most reprehensible, the ugliest, repulsive woman you've ever had the misfortune to rest your eyes upon, because that woman, she is your destiny. The king's face dropped, as you can imagine. And he looked at his griot, and his griot, seeing the consternation on the king's face, said, "Majesty, remember, this silk cotton tree under which we sit came from a small and twisted seed. From such small and twisted things can come greatness. I think you should listen to what this man has to say."